I'm Mallory Morrison, and I'm a fine art underwater photographer, and I'm based in downtown Los Angeles. And so why don't I just show you to my little booth that I have set up. Come on in. All right, welcome. Here is my booth in my studio. And so these are what I usually show at Beverly Hills Art Show and other fairs. They're just really easy to take off the wall, put on your wall, really durable, and also kind of nice to be able to kind of collect together. So I've been actually showing at Beverly Hills. This would have been or is my 6th year showing at Beverly Hills Art Show. And just throughout the years, I've had collectors come back and buy new work to be able to pair with the work that they already have. And it's just wonderful to be able to kind of share with them the new work that I'm making and just kind of show them my progress and process. So I just wanted to let you all know that just how grateful I am to be able to be sharing artwork that is calm, beautiful and peaceful, and especially with everything going on right now, I think that we're all kind of in need of a little serenity. So let's dive in. All right, a little bit about my background as an artist and as a person. I was a dancer, mostly ballet, for 24 years. And I had to stop because of a knee injury. But then also, growing up, I was a hobbyist photographer. Middle school, high school, I just did it for fun. I learned from my dad, who was also a hobbyist, and it was just a passion, just for fun. And it wasn't until I got to college that I actually took a real official photography class, and then I turned it into my major. And I was dancing through college, and so with all this access to all the dancers that I had, with all my classes and performances I was doing, I ended up starting to shoot dancers. And so performances were the first step. I could just kind of be the observer and just capture. And I realized that as a dancer, I know what is going to happen next, even if I've never seen the performance before. And so I was able to kind of be 1 millisecond ahead. And I was realizing that's just very advantageous, to be on this side of things and know that. And but then I eventually migrated into the photo studio and brought dancers into the studio. And so in the studio, it was in the photo studio in school, it was very confining, and I had to just bring in everything, bring in lights, bring in backgrounds, and it became quickly frustrating because I just wanted the dancer to jump and just stay there, and just be frozen in time. And so that was a kind of a constant frustration. And so one night when I was just kind of falling asleep, and how just like thoughts are going through your head, and I just thought, okay, so how do I keep them there? And I realized my problem is gravity. I was like, okay, great. How do I suspend gravity? Oh wait, water. Okay, water. I could suspend then in water. So I found my first friend willing to get in the water with me. And this was back in 2007. And that's 13 years ago. And I just have loved it ever since. I do a lot of fairs kind of throughout the year, and a lot of a very common question that I get is some version of how are you doing this? Is it even a photograph? Is it a painting? Are you in there? Scuba? How are you doing this? And normally at the fair, I have to kind of mime out and describe how I do everything. But since we're digital today, I thought it would be really great to be able to show you a little behind the scenes video. So here is a little behind the scenes video. This is a little clip of when I was in Palm Springs back in 2016. All right. All right, so yeah, it's just very calm and serene underwater. And all I can really hear is the shudder and my heartbeat. And so I primarily work with natural light, but sometimes I use a flash and held by an assistant. And I pretty much always end up sitting at the bottom of the pool at some point, and just to get that angle. And another question that I get asked often is, do you scuba? And my answer is no. I really want to connect with the model as much as possible. And when they come up for air, I want to come up for air with them. And I want us to be able to communicate freely without equipment getting in the way. And that really allows the connection to be just totally in sync. And it's a lot of fun. Dreams have been a big source of inspiration for me. I dream very vividly, and I really remember a lot of my dreams. And so I like to be able to kind of interpret, even just if it's a feeling, interpret that visually. And that kind of helps me process things as well. And a lot of times that ends up helping me realize kind of what was going on subconsciously. So that's really an interesting process for me. But then also, you know, I'm very inspired by classical artists, Michelangelo, Degas. I mean, as a dancer, I had Degas posters everywhere. So even before photography, that was kind of ingrained in me. But then also contemporary artists. So my favorite contemporary artist, who's also a fellow underwater photographer, Zena Holloway. She's based in London, and she has inspired my work for the whole 13 years. And I actually had the pleasure of not only meeting her, but actually doing a shoot with her last year in Tulum in Mexico. And so these are some of the images from that shoot. This is the first time actually shooting outside of a pool. And so these pools are naturally occurring freshwater pools called cenotes. And they are absolutely stunning. All of them are very unique to themselves. And this one had a lily pond underwater, and it was absolutely a stunning, it felt like a Degas water lily come to life. So it was just this wonderful culmination of all of the visual inspiration that I've had over the years in an environment that is new to me. And it's quite a contradiction, but I actually am a little afraid of the ocean and open water. So this was like my little baby step into a beautiful baby pool outside of a swimming pool. And so I ended up naming this series Beautiful Nightmare, because open water and outside of the pool, outside my comfort zone, has been kind of sources of nightmares for me. But I couldn't help but be basically distracted out of my fear because of how beautiful it was. And for the first time, I have a fish in my picture, which is pretty amazing. So anyway, so then another form of inspiration I get is actually from clients. So one of my clients is she has a Pilates studio called Chateau Bleu in Santa Monica, and she had a really interesting idea of photographing her instructors because they're all dancers, her herself, and wanted to have pictures of her instructors in her studio, but have them be really creative, beautiful, meaningful pieces of art as well. And so we worked together to create, here's a couple of them from that series. This one here is titled Embracing. And so normally shooting someone underwater, it's difficult to get just the right moment. Shooting two people underwater at the same time, exponentially more difficult to get them both doing something beautiful at the same time. and one person not awkwardly blowing out bubbles. And these two were just absolutely in sync underwater. And so I wanted to kind of showcase that, just the idea of a relationship and in a couple relationship. And so the title being embracing, normally you'd think embracing, but this, I like the idea of embracing, like embracing yourself together. And that's what kind of creates a very strong union. So just talking about these guys, this is, so these are my fine art limited edition prints. And I can have various sizes up to 40 by 60. And a lot of interior designers like to work with larger sizes. And I also do custom sizes and custom pieces based on per project. And I like to just be able to kind of be a collaborative part of another artist's process. And then I also offer interior designer discounts as well. And these pieces in particular were a new venture for me. They were custom pieces for an interior design project. And I wanted to kind of see how else I could present my work a little differently. So these are actually printed on a metallic paper, and then they're mounted on acrylic, and then they're set off the wall. So they're just sort of floating off the wall. Now the metallic paper is absolutely stunning. It has sort of a 3D depth sort of effect to it that is really kind of draws you in. And I absolutely love these. But normally I also have archival prints that are delivered to the collector, and then they can frame and map them traditionally. So that's my fine art prints. And then I also have my wood pieces, and I'd love to be able to show you a little detail. So these are all handmade by me. And so I print them out on archival paper and trim it, and then I paint over with a clear gel to seal it. So there's a brush stroke texture in there. It has a nice little sheen. So I kind of trick the viewer a little bit, because it is actually painted, but it isn't a painting. This is what it looks like as a photograph. And so it's protected, and so it has that texture, but then it's also UV coated and water resistant. And so it's easy to hang in the bathroom. A little bit of moisture is fine. And so all of these wood pieces are, they're all various sizes, but they're the smaller sizes. They're consumer friendly prices, and they're able to be kind of tiled together. It ranges in size. I have little 8x8 ones. I've started to make circles. I don't actually have any circles in stock because I just sold my last one. But they range all the way up to 16 by 20, and they're all open edition. And prices range from $90 to $410, and they're all available on my online store. So I'd actually love to show you my online store. And so I have actually an inventory sale going on right now. So everything that I have available in my studio is 15% off, and that's through this weekend. And then I'm also offering free shipping, because basically, so it's like you bought it at the fair. You don't have to have any extra cost to ship it. And all of my work on my store is available to be shipped out, and during our stay-at-home orders right now. That's about it here. So I was just so happy to share kind of who I am a little bit, and my process of how I actually go about doing my work and the inspiration behind it. And so I'd love to be able to kind of open it up for some questions, and also kind of talk about some future plans if we have time. So let's come on over. Wonderful question, thank you. So I remember on the flight home from Mexico, I thought, that was so great, I don't want to do it again. I have since, and that was a year ago, I have since calmed on that, but the difficulty for me was everything that I was able to choose and control in the pool, all of that goes just just goes away when I'm shooting in, I can't control the light, can't control the temperature, the clarity. So when I was in it, it felt like I was fighting it, because I was fighting what I was used to. So now that I've had time to kind of get used to it, I do want to try that. It'll just be a matter of what that environment is, because I am a free diver. I don't scuba. So I am considering trying scuba. And that's usually always the question, is like, why not? Why not scuba? Because I'm a dance photographer first, who shoots in water, rather than an underwater photographer who likes to shoot people. So that's so I'm definitely open to it. No official plans yet, but my mind is open to it. So thank you. That's a great question. What's interesting is that the cenotes in Mexico that I just showed you was a dream destination for me. That was something, it was just this wonderful culmination of a photographer who I've loved for so long, hosting a shoot in a place that I had said, okay, if ever I go out of a pool, I'll shoot in there. So, and the cenotes, there's thousands of them, and they're all very unique and different. So I would actually really like to continue to explore all of those, now that I feel like I've got my feet wet a little bit and gotten comfortable in there, to really try to explore all of those areas, because it feels like it's still going to be able to be feeling like my aesthetic and my work, but outside of a pool. Good question. So I did try out for swim team in high school. Made it about a week. I couldn't get the whole flip thing without getting water up my nose. So as a dancer, being in water is very freeing. And because we're always fighting gravity, it feels, it's not like I needed to feel like a strong swimmer. It just felt like this release of the hindrance of gravity, that I can just kind of play around in it. So my dance background really allowed me to be really comfortable in water. But I've never really been a really strong swimmer. I have become a strong free diver, and I can hold my breath. The last time I counted was like a minute or so of holding my breath. I just get so distracted by shooting that I kind of hold my breath a little bit too long. But it's more, my passion more is coming from dance, and the water is the vehicle, and an absolutely wonderful vehicle to create the images that I see in my head. And over the 13 years, it has turned into also a love of being in the water. Yeah, so that's a long-term process of getting that all dialed in. And that's actually a really great question. So I've been answering that question a lot, and I decided to actually put together a workshop to teach other photographers. So there's other photographers out there that are interested in trying this technique. So it was planned for this year, but I actually am gonna push it off to next year until it's safe and we can all happily be together. It'll be out in Palm Springs in this beautiful boutique resort that I'll be renting out the whole space, beautiful pool. And then we'll be able to go through, it'll be a couple days, and go through the whole process of how I get that to work. But a lot to do with understanding light, and understanding the changes of how things work. Dark backgrounds versus light backgrounds show different things. So there's lots of different techniques that I can use, but being in a swimming pool, especially in a well-filtered, clean pool, that's a really great place to start. Well, so I've been doing it for about 6 years now, and I think it's rewarding and beneficial to me all at once is being able to talk with people throughout the day, and I get their first impression. I see their faces when they see my work for the first time. So it's a really great way to test out new work and to see, okay, I like it, but does someone else like it? Because there's twofold to being an artist who sells their work. Is it's not just, I made this, here you go, but also, do people like it? Are people responding to it? And what are they responding to? And so I've been able to kind of market test basically what pieces are flying off the shelves and everyone loves that piece. Okay, what is it about that? Let me have that inform my work in the future. But then also I get a sense of who are the people that are buying my work? What are they interested in? And that's the basics of marketing yourself as any business, is understanding who your market is. And so that has been absolutely valuable to me, to really get a sense of who my buyers are, and then I can have conversations with them and they can get to know a little bit more about me, but then I can also get to know them. And then it's also just an extra special twist that I now know that they have a little piece of art for their home that they're really excited about. Yeah, so just a little bit about I have some future projects coming up. When it's safe to do so, I'm going to be doing another series with identical twins. I get a lot of people say that, oh, it looks like you're in a womb. And I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna do twins and it's gonna be a beautiful little womb under there. And then also, since I live and co-own a photo studio here in downtown, I have started shooting dancers in the studio again. Very different environment than I had in school. And so I'll be continuing to do that. And then just to kind of get, if you want to kind of get connected with me, I have my website is MalloryMorrison.com. And then my store is very similar. It's MalloryMorrison.photography. And so that's the store. And so the MalloryMorrison.com is my portfolio site. So it shows all the series of work in all, kind of organized in the series, a little bit more about me. And then if you'd like to follow me, please follow me on my Instagram at Mallory Morrison. So thank you so much. I'm so excited to participate in this virtual fair. And thank you so much, Beverly Hills Art Show.